Done by Dorothy. This is Dorothy here, and we're here today. I wanted to share a DIY recipe. You know, if you're a subscriber to my channel, then you know we've been working on our 25 days of Christmas ephemera. And so we have, you know, a DIY we sort of need to do for that. You know, if you haven't checked it out, I will link it below. We're also going to be using Modge Podge as a base today. And again, I have a DIY tutorial for that. I will link below. Remember to subscribe, like, comment. Make sure you share with your friends. So, again, I'm going to use, and I've showed these before, the mini ball jars you can buy from Walmart. I think you get a 4-pack for, I think I paid like $2 and something for 4. But I find them really great for storage because they seal. So they're airtight. And, you know, if you're working with glues, things like that, you need it to be airtight. So, like I said, we're using our Modge Podge recipe that we made. And I normally shake this very well, but I've already shook it because I was using it earlier. So, and we're going to need 1/4 cup of our Modge Podge, and it doesn't have to be exact. I'm going to pour it everywhere. I am so sorry, guys. I got my baby wipes over here ready. For whatever reason, every time I pour out of that jar, I end up spilling. I think it's just the way the jar is made or the way I hold it or something. So, I don't need a whole lot with this, so I'm only going to use 1/4 cup. Again, because, you know, let me wipe my fingers off. So you need 1/4 cup of Modge Podge. I'm going to wipe my measuring cup out and then I'll wash that later. Let me make sure we didn't get any on the outside of our jar. You always want to make sure you wipe the lid of your jar. Make sure I got this. Yeah. This one nice thing is it wipes up extremely well. Even on fabric, it does really great. So, with the baby wipes, let me wipe the outside of the... So, be careful when you're pouring that you know, if you have it already in your jar. And some of you do, because we just did our tutorial for it. Okay, so, there's our Modge Podge. So, again, I did 1/4 cup of Modge Podge. And then I have the LA Colors Shimmering Loose Eyeshadow with a brush. I get this from the Dollar Tree. You can use any kind of eyeshadow. If you're using a cake, you need to make sure you turn it into a fine powder before you try to do this. And I'm just going to, I actually put, what I did is, I took the brush out of mine, held it upside down, tapped it on my hand a little bit, carefully flip it over, and I got some inside the lid that way. So, and I'm just going to add 1/4 tablespoon, or I'm sorry, 1/4 teaspoon. And you may have to guesstimate. I'm just gonna get the rest out of my lid that way. And this is a shimmer, so this is gonna create a shimmer powder. Oops. Put my little brush in there, I'll have it everywhere. I'm just going to grab my paintbrush. Make sure if you grab your paintbrush, you don't get one that, you know, has really loose hairs that, you know, sort of pull on a little bit. Make sure your hairs are locked in there, because it will, you'll end up with it all in your shimmer. And you can add as little or as much shimmer as you want, and you can sort of, it's probably going to be really hard for you guys to see on the camera, but you can actually make it a shimmer. I actually think I'm going to add a little more, but I didn't have quite 1/4 teaspoon, so. So you may want to add, if you did probably a whole 1/4 teaspoon, you would be okay. I was a little short, so I'm gonna put a little more in there. And again, like all my recipes, you know, you can add more, you can add less. If you want it find the baby wipe again. Or I will have shimmer all over everything. You'll find, like, if you want to thicken it, just add a little bit more glue. If you want to thin it, you can add a little bit of water. Just be careful adding too much water, because the more water you add, the more you'll lessen your shelf life. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a scrap piece over here so you can see it. And it's just a tea-dyed scrap that I have in my scrap box. Okay, and then it doesn't take a whole lot, and you're just going to paint it on. Oh, see, I got hairs coming out of my brush. I'm gonna make sure you wash that. This is one of my older brushes, and I think from where I used it earlier, it's causing it to loosen up. So before I go into my project today, I'll make sure I get a new brush. Okay, I'm going to pause this real fast and hit this with my drying gun, just to dry it real fast so you guys can see. Okay, I am back, and hopefully you'll be able to, I don't know if you'll be able to see the shimmer or not. Can you see? Let me see if I angle it towards the light. Try to pull my light in a little bit. See if you can see that shimmer. And there you can see a little bit of it. So it does turn real shimmery. One of the things I like is extremely smooth. Make sure when you dry it, if you're going to dry it with like a gun, don't get right on top of it. It will bubble just like gesso does. One of the things I like is it almost has like a velvety feel. And it reminds me of the vintage postcards that had that real velvety feel to them. That's what it reminds me of without that, though. So it would be great, you know, as the covering on a vintage postcard or something like that, you know, to create that shimmery effect. So that is that. I thought I would share with you guys. Again, you know, try it. Let me know what you think. It's in the comments. I did clear. And I used, the shimmer that I used was actually Snow White. You could use the gold, you could use pink, purple, green, you know, whatever color eyeshadow that you have, bronze. You know, if you were doing steampunk, it'd be awesome. You know, if you wanted to do red and, you know, put it on a rose to sort of give it that shimmery look or whatever, you know, or if you're doing a wedding album. You know, this would be great to put like on a little a mock wedding dress, that type of thing. So, I mean, you could use it for a million different things, but I just wanted to share with you guys. So that is our DIY for today. Again, I will link it. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. I know it was really basic, but you know, some things are just that simple. So, I wanted to share with you guys. I will be back later on today with the 25 Days of Christmas ephemera and the tutorials for those. So I'll see you this afternoon. Thanks, guys, and have a great day. Bye.